Oh, thank you very much in front. I love it. I would like to bring to the stage, please, Susan Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell Stankovic Associates. Beverly Anderson, President and CEO of BECU. Bill Cheney, President and CEO of Schools First Federal Credit Union. Dietrich Kuhlman, President and CEO of Navy Federal Credit Union. Lee Brady, President and CEO of State Employees Credit Union. Sterling Nielsen, President and CEO of Mountain America Credit Union. Thane Schaefer, President and CEO of America First Credit Union, is on back to help lead this conversation. Now, I want you to note collectively the number of assets that are on this stage right now. This is 6 of the 7 largest credit unions in the United States and potentially in the world. Thank you all very much, Sue. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I think there's one more chair. Do you guys need to speak down?
I think we're all set.
Everybody have one? Great.
All right. Well, I want you to know that these are generous spirits here. And we have a special treat for you. Excuse me. We're taking over the stage at Money 2020, the main stage, y'all. All right? Yeah. These are the folks. And what we were planning to do here is a practice session. So what that says to all of you is have some fun, enjoy, but I want to read you how Money 2020 has booked this session. Top credit union CEOs unveil why fintechs must be partners, not vendors, to reach millions. Ever wonder how a sleeping giant with 140 million members and now $3 trillion in assets could revolutionize your financial journey? Now's your chance to find out. They are gathering and connecting with decision makers to tell them what a credit union is and to give background on membership. So, I just want you to know, some of this stuff you know, but how many new fintechs do we have here that don't really know as much about the credit union space? Raise your hands a little bit. I know we have a few. So we're going to take you through the journey of what a credit union is, what it means, why it's important. And I am so humbled that they would come today and be part of this. So would everybody sincerely jump up, give them a hand, give them a round of applause. I'm serious. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So we're expecting a few thousand, maybe, folks. There's about 15,000 there. So I'm going to start and ask them, first question. Credit unions are all about value-driven leadership. Would each of you take a moment, and I'll start with you. Dietrich, will you tell us what do you think are the key points of your credit union and highlight a few points for the audience?
Thanks for calling us here, Sue, and thank you all for being there. And it was very educational to listen to many of the recent topics, the CUS topics, and some of the other ones. And I think my fellow CEOs here would share that we look forward to ways that we can help the credit union movement and the smaller credit unions. We do not want to make this journey alone. Totally agree with the statement that size is not the issue, and a large credit union is still a credit union. And it's a credit union by how it's run and operated, with members being first. I mean, our motto is our members are the mission, and our goal is to be the most trusted and preferred financial institution for the military and their families. So that's who we serve, and that's been our mission statement for quite a while. And we do many of the same things you do, arguably at a different scale. And so we're about $194 billion, and we just had our 15th million member a couple weeks ago. So that's a little bit about Navy Federal Credit Union.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard that, but that was $194 billion, million member growth, right? I mean, It's growing. So we're in a great spot. Bill, tell us about you.
Sure. Well, thank you, Sue, and thanks for bringing us all together. It's great to be a part of this group, and honored to be with you and the underground. Well, schools first, Federal Credit Union. We're headquartered in Orange County, California, but we serve school employees and their family members throughout the state. We've been doing that since 1934. We were founded at Santa Ana High School and Santa Ana College, which shared the same campus. 12 teachers had the idea to start this credit union to serve school employees, and we've been doing that ever since. We've expanded statewide now to serve school employees, but we have a tip charter similar to Navy that says if you get a paycheck from a school, you're eligible to join the credit union. We now serve 1.5 million members, which sounds like a big number unless you're sitting next to 15 million. But I'm also a member of Navy Federal, thanks to my Navy grandfather and Marine Corps father. So anyways, our mission is to provide world-class personal service and financial security to our members. Our vision is to be the preeminent financial services institution to the nation's educational community. So I guess we've started with California. We've got a long way to go. And I 100% agree. I mean, our credit union is operated as a credit union. Like all federally chartered credit unions, we have a volunteer board of directors elected by our membership to operate in their best interest. And while we've been successful and we've grown over the last 91 years, we started with 126 members and about, well, I don't even know what it was, I don't know, $1,200 in assets on day one. And we've grown, and that's a good thing. If you're a school employee in California and you join the credit union, you benefit from that growth and the focus that we've had on serving them, as I said, for 91 years.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. And such a need, right? Our kids, our schools, I mean, it's just fabulous. So I'm going to throw it to you, Lee. What do you think?
Okay, so not that big, obviously. Nobody is. Lee Brady with State Employees Credit Union, and I'm out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and we are located just in North Carolina. We have about $57 billion in assets, and we'll be hitting 3 million members. We serve state and public school employees and their immediate family members, and that's where the growth is coming from. I will concise our mission down really into kind of something simple. And we work very, very hard to help our members keep money in their pockets where it belongs, similar to what every single credit union does. And just to highlight a few little things that we do, it may be a payday lending alternative where we are giving them a lower interest rate, and we are requiring them to save a little bit of that. And now those folks have $57 million in savings. Or it could be helping the teacher who works on 10-month period save for those 2 months that they're not getting paid. So there are, or it could be NSF free days. It could be just something simple that we do, but very much is our mission. So when we started, 17 members and $437. That's it. And it's grown a heck of a lot, but with the same purpose.
Well, we're going to learn more about how important these credit unions are to their areas, to their states, and wonderful stories. So, you want to go next, Ben?
Sure.
I'm supposed to be spontaneous.
Absolutely.
So go
Thank
for
you,
it.
Sue. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here, and it was great just to hear some of the conversations that we were all having earlier. And it's just amazing that whether we're large credit unions or small credit unions, we're all experiencing some of the same things. We're all trying to do incredible work for our members, and that's exactly what BECU is. BECU Credit Union, I am the CEO of. I am a relative newbie. Some of you have seen me before, but this will be my third year in the movement at the end of December. So I've been on such an incredible learning journey, and everybody has been so welcoming, including my wonderful colleagues here. We are just about $30 billion credit union with 1.5 million members. We're located in Seattle, Washington. And yay, go Seattle. Almost Mariners almost made it. I know, I'm sorry, too soon. Okay. And we have a purpose that says we bring people together to improve the financial well-being of our members and their communities. And that's what we do. 3,200 employees get up every single day trying to figure out how to serve that purpose. And we do that. Employees serve in our communities 23,000 hours a year in volunteerism. Through our foundation and our philanthropic efforts, we have $9.2 million in grants, community support of many, many partners who do incredible work on behalf of our members. And quite frankly, we show up every day just trying to figure out how we help, how we keep people moving along on their financial journey. And it's an incredible space. I love the work that we all do together. I love the support that we provide small credit unions. We've got one that has a micro branch inside of our main building in the center that's in our lobby. It's called Express Credit Union. And they serve a population so incredibly well that we're supportive of, and we support them with talent, with our time, with our treasure. You know, we lent an officer to them for a whole year to do their core conversion. That's the kind of way I think us large credit unions help small ones, and we're quite frankly all in this together. So nice to see you all and look forward to this conversation.
Thank you very much. And it's interesting when you think about our discussions today to have the whole discussion about small credit unions and then to be talking about the impact y'all make. All right, you guys down there, it's our Utah friends, Sterling, Thane. Which one wants to go next?
Go ahead, Sterling.
I guess I'll do it. I've been elected. But Sterling Nielsen, president of Mountain America Credit Union. We're headquartered in Sandy, Utah. We have branches in 5 western states. Utah is, you can probably tell with 2 of us here, a little bit of a unique environment for credit unions. Very high concentration of credit union membership in the state. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think if we're not the highest, they're the top 2 anyway. We have a unique environment that we operate in. It's of course it's heavily competitive, like all of you are operating. But it's such an honor to work and partner with so many great people in the industry. I mean, this group here is wonderful. All of you and the good you do in the industry is really remarkable. We're about just right about 22 billion in assets. Have about 1.4 million members. Most of our branches are in Utah, but we do have quite a few in Idaho, Arizona, Nevada, and a couple in Montana. So that's kind of where we've been operating. Of course, one of the things that really, we to look at some of the things that may have made us successful is really working in those small communities. What we offer has really resonated in a lot of those communities, which has resulted in us having quite a few branches, about 105 branches for our size. It's just probably a little bit, quite a few to operate. And we continue to add branches so we can serve more of those communities. I believe that credit unions are still that best kept secret. We need to be out there. We need to make a difference. And we love sharing stories of where we've been able to impact the lives of our members. And a lot of that, you say, well, why branches? For our philosophy is the branches are where you change lives. And we've been able to change lives by our branch system.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, and it's good to be here, and especially with all these groups. There's several here that I haven't met before now, and it is good to make their acquaintance. I am Thane Schaefer. I'm the CEO of America First Credit Union, and we're headquartered about 45 minutes north of Sterling's headquarters in Riverdale, Utah. And Sterling's Credit Union and mine have really grown up together, haven't they, Sterling? So we know each other really well. We are 23 billion in assets, and we serve 1.5 million members. You can start to see the similarities here. And we serve members in 6 western states. And it is a big challenge to serve the different needs of members in all of those different types of communities. So our approach and our aspiration is to be able to offer the opportunities to our members to achieve their financial goals. And we do that in ways that you've heard everybody talk about. So I don't really want to be too repetitive. One thing I will say, though, that will add a little substance to something that Sterling just pointed out. I happen to live in the district in Utah that has the highest concentration of credit union membership of any congressional district in the country. And Utah has the first, second, third, and sixth top districts in the country when it comes to concentration of membership. So we've been very involved, in addition to the many, many things you hear that credit unions do and you would expect to hear from America First, we are very involved in advocating for credit unions. And we make multiple trips a year to Washington, D.C., and we have strong relationships with our elected officials, both state and federal. And that really, I think, played a large role this last spring as we were facing a potential degradation of our tax exemption, having those relationships and being able to take those kinds of numbers in to our elected officials. So just a little, so I'm grateful to be here, Susan, and I appreciate the invitation. I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's excellent. So the interesting thing is that we're going to be in an audience of folks that are learning, and we want to amplify the credit union mission, and we want to talk about what we do. And some of it is mission, some of it's amazing what we're doing. And so we want to talk about financial education and financial literacy and how important that is to our industry. So, Leah, I'm going to toss it to you. What do you think? And then everybody else just join in.
Yeah, so financial education obviously is a big piece. Now, when I talk about financial education, it might be done in a variety of ways. I just mentioned that salary advance loan, and maybe where folks are not as self-disciplined, and you might put programs in place that might help them get to where they need to be on their financial roadmap. Or it could be going out into the schools and the communities where a lot of folks do that. And I think last year we reached 87,000 doing that. Or it could be having a youth program and introducing kids. Or it could be through a foundation and the good work that you're doing through the foundation. So there are a lot of ways that we go about doing that. And I know that a lot of you as well have very, very good programs in place. But financial education, we believe you start early and often. And that is going to make for a successful member and citizen moving forward.
That's great. Thane, you want to Thane?
Yeah, there has been a big change, I think, in when we talk about financial literacy and teaching our society about financial literacy from the beginning of my career till later. And I think that anybody out there that's looking for the opportunity to get involved in that kind of effort will be able to find it. When I first started, it was all about teaching at the high school and teaching them how to do teaching the kids how to keep a checkbook and those kinds of things.
Yeah, we don't have to teach that anymore.
Exactly. Today, we get calls from universities, we get calls from community groups. It is everybody out there. There are so many groups recognize the need for whoever their constituency is to have a better financial education, to have better training. And so we try to make ourselves available to all of our partners, to our communities. We have a curriculum that we've developed that we provide for free to those folks, and we even have people that go out and do that. I think a fun little story is when the when the Arizona Coyotes, the NHL hockey team, moved to Utah, the group that was moving them there, Smith Entertainment Group, was scrambling to get them ready for that season. And apparently, I didn't know this, in their development camp, they have financial literacy for those prospects, and they called us, and we were able to go teach financial literacy to a bunch of future millionaires for the NHL. So it goes from all across the board where that need is, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in that to just get involved somewhere, because everybody needs that.
It's one of these things I always say, you think about big disciplines in our life, whether it's driving a car, we have to learn how to do that. We get taught how to do that. There's a whole educational system that makes sure we're ready to, launch, go to work, make money. But when you think about one of the most important disciplines that we carry through all of our lives, financial management, money management, we don't teach that. And so I think credit unions do such an incredible job. Each one of us, and many of you who are out there, could talk about the programs that you have in your communities, educating people, the work that we're starting to do digitally. And one of the things we do is we've launched a financial health hub. And so we invite our members in to get insights, to learn. There's all kinds of content. And then, of course, what Sterling said is so true. The place where it really comes to fruition is when somebody walks through our doors and they need to sit down and be taught and educated. So this is an important thing that I think is really missing in the lives of people. So from a BSU perspective, we think about programmatic efforts. One of the things we launched is a loan reprice program, and we've had it for 20 years as we teach people how to manage their credit. If they do a really good job, every year we'll reprice certain ones of their loans. We'll take their prices down. And we do that proactively, and we congratulate them and we celebrate the progress they made. We've done 650,000 of those loans and $29 million of savings to members right into their pockets because we're teaching them how to be better. And envelopes, I don't know how many of you remember if your mom had an envelope system where she would put money in the various envelopes. When we talk to our members over and over again, the one thing they talk about is this envelope or compartmentalization system. So we launched it digitally. Before we even started to market it, people found it because they love the discipline of creating compartmentalized ways of, tucking little money away. And what's really cool about it is we can see what they're saving for or what they're trying to manage. And big areas are car payments, rent payments, or mortgages. But they also have aspirations like travel and vacations. And that gives us something to learn about them, and then that allows us to help them even better. So this notion of financial education, financial literacy, and actual programs and opportunities for us to help them is really one of the most important things I think we all do.
I think that's great, and I'm going to toss it back to you. But one of the one of the follow-ups is you all have a lot of employees. And do you educate them as well? I mean, I think that's an interesting... Dietrich, you want to comment?
We do, and we're way above the national average with our employees on using the 401k. It's like 94% of our employees participate in our 401k. We have a 7% match on that, so participating is really important. Agree with what all my colleagues said. The key to education is one of the fundamental principles we do. We're on 92 bases. Any of the credit unions out there on a base? You don't make money on a credit union on a base. It's a loss. But you do have an operating agreement that at the request of the commanding officer, you're available to give training to all the people who work on that base. And so we never turn down an opportunity to go down to get on a base, just so we can do that education, because we think it's so vital. We're also because we're the on-base credit union up at Great Lakes at the boot camp, we give all the training to all the recruits there, and we're also the on-base credit union at Paris Island, so all the East Coast Marines get it, education. And then our branches partner with recruiters to also try and give education to folks as they're coming into the military. So we're very focused on getting, I think Lee's got it right. You got to get it early, and we're working to get better at doing it often. And you're right, having a digital asset has been a key for us. So it definitely is something we're very interested in, and I think this is a place where we in the credit union industry are different, and we should be proud of that.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Sue, thank you for bringing up our employees, because it's one thing for us to be here as CEOs, and it's an honor to serve our credit unions, but it's the team that serves our members, and we've got very close to 3,000 employees, and yes, we do work with them on their financial well-being, but they're the ones who are talking to our members about their financial well-being. I mean, our number one priority is member service and extraordinary member engagement, but we understand in order to achieve that, we have to have an exceptional quality team, and we've worked for almost 10 years now with the Gallup organization on both member engagement and team member engagement, and the importance, one drives the other. If our team is disengaged, they're not going to have the mindset, or if they're not financially themselves financially doing well or thriving, they're going to be focused on that, and they should be, versus helping our members with their own financial well-being. So I appreciate you bringing that up. But we talk a lot about our membership. We need to talk about our team too.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know I've already spoken on the subject, but I just would feel like I'd like to tell you about a really success story we've had as far as this goes. We have an organization. It's actually a separate organization in America First. It is called Care-a-Lot, and it is fully funded by donations by our employees. And it is there for employees only and volunteers that may be going through catastrophic problems. And it has its own board and all of those, and it has its own execution, and those are all employees of the credit union, and it is well funded. And our employees really desire to watch out for the financial well-being of their peers. And we've been doing it for about 25 years now. And to me, it's one of the crown jewels of what America First purports to be, because it is our people helping their people when they get in a tough spot.
Yeah, I often think about that when we're talking about kind of how we're all facing these, the times that we're in right now. We have some layoffs happening. We have members dealing with different financial issues, but we also have our employees dealing with those. So the response to it. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk tech, okay? But I'm going to throw a kind of a question that the audience wants to hear. Why buy a bank? Did anybody
You're looking at me,
mention that,
Susan.
or tell us why?
Susan's looking at me because we announced a couple of months ago that we are acquiring Meadows Bank, a bank right here in Las Vegas with 6 branches. It's largely a commercial operation. And I think why is exactly the right question to ask. If I could take just a couple of steps back from why we're doing it, I'm sure that all of my colleagues get the same number of calls that I do. And I get several a month from investment advisors and investment bankers and attorneys who want me to buy a bank someplace. And when that first started, we were curious about that. So I sat down with my executive group and we defined for ourselves why we would ever do that. And we did it actually as part of a strategic planning process. And so going into those calls, we had kind of made a definition for what would be a reason for us. And it helped me filter those many, many calls that I was getting. And we had a couple that we kind of got interested in, but they didn't really ever take off until we had the opportunity to meet with the leadership of Meadows Bank. And we found, so that facilitated the very first discussion. I traveled down here to Las Vegas. We met not far from here, and we had a very productive first meeting. And in that very first meeting, because we had gone through that due diligence suspect or that pre-thought, I saw that there was a real opportunity there, and I think their leadership did as well, because it went from there. So let me answer your question directly. Because I knew that, what we found is we found a willing partner who had an operation that was very similar to ours. Their underwriting, and let me say this, one of the things that we had identified was America First in its many members has, we estimate based on statistics from the Small Business Administration, about 200,000 members that are running businesses. And we want to be able to provide quality services not only to those members for their personal needs, but for their business needs as well. Meadows Bank was a bank that was doing that. And we already had a great lending program, a great SBA program, great account services. but this was an opportunity to bring a very similar group into ours and augment our ability to serve that segment of our membership and meet the demands that those members have for their businesses and the things that they run. So we found a great organization that had a very similar operation, very similar underwriting standards, and this next item became really one of the biggest drivers of the whole thing as we went down the road with Meadows, and that was their talent and their team. We saw an opportunity to bring in incredible talent, great leadership, and a team that had existing relationships in an area that we were struggling to build a team in. And then, by the way, I just must add that our cultures were very similar, which is one of the biggest challenges to any merger if you've been through that. So we saw that as an opportunity to buy it rather than build it, so to speak. But we did that going in knowing exactly what our requirements would be, and we happened to find a great partner there. And it's right now our application is in with the regulators. We're looking forward for them to give us the green light. We're really excited about it.
Hey, you got to hear strategy there, and he was willing to be impromptu. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to do the same thing now, and I'm going to ask Beverly to tell us why they bought an AI company.
Yeah, so we bought an AI company. And it's interesting because like Thane, our company's been on a transformative journey, strategic journey around how we were going to better serve our members. I think it was Samantha who talked about growth, how we were going to infuse growth by getting at member needs through product, through member experiences, through channels. And we started thinking about AI and the role of AI. There was a conference that I actually attended. It was at Harvard Business School. The professor who spoke basically looked at the audience and said, how many of you are, leaders of organizations, CEOs, if you're not already focusing on AI, you are probably behind. And I thought about the strategic plan we had just instituted, which has both an inorganic and an organic growth path, but we didn't say a lot about AI other than we would start taking a look at it, testing it. Of course, we have large language models and machine learning, all of us does. We were doing some partnership work with a Fintech called EarnUp. They'd been around for 11 years doing incredible work in the space of debt management and helping people get out of debt. They had launched an AI team starting to think about financial inclusion, financial health, and our teams were starting to do a little skunk work, but for us, it was off the side of our desk. The Fintech was starting to get nibbles about an acquisition. And I thought, and I spent some time with my board and our leadership team, and we thought, this is the time to take a bold move and grab a team that was already working with us, very much culturally aligned, to Thane's point. We were all caring very much about how do you find a way to get people moving through their financial journey to a place of, we say, access to health, to prosperity, to freedom. How do you get somebody all the way through that journey? And we do it every day. 1,300 of our member consultants, our contact centers, our back office operations teams, they're helping members every single day, but we can't scale that. I can't put branches on every corner. I can't keep growing the teams. There's got to be a scalable way to deliver that financial journey. And we think the way to do that is through a financial advisor, generative AI, that will deliver this kind of help at scale that our member consultants do every single day, live and in person. What we're finding now that we've bought the firm is that the team at first was a little bit leery, like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. But then we started talking about all the ways that AI can help. Take some of that pain of the work that they do every day off of their plate so that they can do better work for members. We call it no-joy work. And AI is really good at that no-joy work, taking that off the plates for people. So we now have the team focused on productivity and efficiency, and our team's employees are like, come talk to us. We have plenty of things we want you to help us do. And then we've got the team working on this generative AI. We've just launched the pilot. We're learning a lot. In some ways, the advice is really good, and the folks in the pilot are excited about it. In other words, they're like, the information's not good enough. You need more of my data. One of the things we're really learning is how much data the generative AI models need to give you back really good information. So we're learning some of that. But it's exciting. It wasn't on the roadmap, but I'm really, really glad we did it. And it forced the organization to just take a step up and engage in technology that we all know is really going to both enable us to do all of our jobs better and, quite frankly, disrupt the work that we do today.
See, it's fabulous. And so we're hearing some of this decision making that we'll be sharing. So I want to hear about Navy Federal. What's happening with technology?
Well, we have a couple of major technology efforts. First, some of the discussions before were about data. So we've been on a 5-year journey to get our data basically cutting edge. And I ask every vendor or partner that comes in to work with us, what do you think of our data system? And they want to work with us because of how good our data infrastructure is and the quality of our data. And so that's been a huge advantage for us. And that has created the launching point for which I think it's foundational if you're going to do AI. If AI, like everything else, is bad data in is bad output. So you do have to make that investment. And so we're also launching AI. I think it's that Harvard professor was it Stanford or Harvard?
Harvard.
Harvard. It's a Harvard business. Yeah, he was exactly right. So we're very much on that. We're also moving to about 3 years' time, real-time banking. So no more batch, except where our partners who don't have real-time banking force us to do batch. But we will be able to do that with the new core system that we're buying. So that's been a very big part of our journey as well. So both of those are big efforts that we've launched, along with increasing member value, which is really the output of what those things will do.
Yeah, technology's been our focus today. Does anybody else want to add anything before I move to the next question? Okay, Sterling, I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit. I want to know about trust and how that affects our partnerships. And we'll come back to what we mean by partners, but it's very important for us to understand this, all of us. Go ahead.
Trust is, it's not just our partners, but us as financial institutions need to have that trusting relationship. But I look at our partners and they have really helped us succeed. We would not be where we are today had it not been for good, strong partners that we could trust. And we all have had those situations where one of our systems go down. We've had situations before with one of our partners where, for whatever reason, when a member went to swipe their card, it would not work. And that you could say, well, it was the vendor's fault. No, it's my fault. It's my fault because I chose that vendor. And the member, that's all they need to know. And I had a situation this week, and I don't want to pick on anybody, but I went to the airport this morning. I had a flight out to D.C., actually. And it was interesting. I in the morning, I check everything's on my phone, is working great. I get to the airport, go through, I don't plan ahead like a lot of people do, I figured I can get through pretty quickly. I have Clear, I have pre-check, I have digital ID. I can get through pretty quickly. I don't need to worry about all that. Well, I go through the digital ID because it happened to be the shortest, and guess what? They said, "No, you're not here." Oh, well, that's kind of, it takes me back a little bit. So I go get out of line, I check my app. Sure enough, my boarding pass isn't there. In fact, the whole trip is gone. In fact, there's only one trip on my whole app, and it wasn't any that were coming up anytime soon. So I reset my phone, just try all this stuff. And I had to go get a paper ticket. Do you know what a paper ticket is? And so that means I have to go up to this line. And I wasn't prepared for that because I didn't have the time. And then to make it worse, I get this paper ticket and it doesn't have pre-check. Now, for those of us that are spoiled, that have been pre-checked for many, many years, you know the trauma there that happens. So there's some serious trauma here. So I'm going through, luckily I didn't have to take off my shoes, but I had to go through the normal line. So, I can say, well, this was the airline's fault. Well, the airline had another vendor that created that problem, and we're probably aware, and I'm not going to pick on them. But regardless, it's Delta's fault. They're the ones that had the app, and they're the ones. So trust is critical in what we do. When we have an offering from one of our trusted partners, we need to have it work. It needs to work right as advertised. It needs to be flawless because it reflects on us. And we are buying in to what you are offering. And that's the key that we need to understand is it is that partnership that we really do rely upon.
What's exciting about what we just heard is partnerships are helping us build what we're doing. The trusted advisors, they're all part of that. But when we were on stage last year, you made a punchline that stayed with me, Dietrich, about what do you have to have from your vendors?
Well, if it's the one I think it is, I mentioned that if we call you a vendor, we're probably not very happy with you. You really want us to call you a partner, which means you're in this with us. So it's more of a covenant relationship than just a contractual relationship. And in a covenant relationship, you're both striving for the best outcomes for both sides. I think that's the one.
That's the one. I loved it. I was wondering if I had the T-shirt that said vendor or whether I was a partner, because it's something we have to invest in. Bill?
You're a partner, Sue, so 100%. But I just want to comment on trust, not just with our service providers and other partners, but just in the credit union movement, not just in the U.S., but globally. I mean, trust, to me, is the foundation that our entire movement is built upon. The whole people helping people philosophy is built on trust, whether with our team, with our members, with our partners, with our regulators. I'm nice of our one remaining NCUA board member to be here today to address this group.
That was the entire board, yes.
That was it. Chairman, vice chairman, and board member. I'm 100% serious. There's a trust relationship. Our exam starts on Monday, and I'm not just saying this because of that, but there's a trust relationship that exists between your examiners and your team at the credit union and your board of directors. I mean, it's foundational to who we are, and that's why we're here, is to figure out how to better build and earn our members' trust and our team members' trust. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else want to add?
Yeah. I wanted to add on the partnership side of things. And look, we're going to be going through a core conversion and converting something from 1983 technology. And it has been a workhorse, let me just say that. But when we were looking at partners, I cussed a little bit in there because I said I want someone who is going to allow us to help other credit unions and smaller credit unions, whether that may be processing for them, whatever it might be. I want a partner that's going to kind of live in that space with us and not just be out to make money in the end.
Yeah. Anybody else? I mean, you invested your time. That is why I started this with the fact that they came in today to practice this, because you don't see this group on the stage together. And they came in today, and we don't speak till Monday. So we're refining it, but that one is, remember that one? That was good, you guys. That was good.
Maybe I also will say, oh, sorry, go ahead. No, Costa.
Well, I've already said a lot, but, one thing that about our partners is they're always there for us, and we want to be there for them. And one thing we've done that's kind of unique at our organization is we've partnered with them. We're saying we'll help you do the development. We'll actually fund some employees to do the development. So kind of like co-development, so that we can have the best product for the industry. And that's something I think that we can do with our partners, it's so that we can really offer the very best that's out available for anybody in the credit union industry.
Any final thoughts on that one?
Ditto. I love what you said because we do that as well. We just had a management as far as the vendor and the partner thing, and we are very selective about who we call a partner. We just had our annual management conference where we bring all of our managers and above, anybody who's a manager above, into Salt Lake, and we have a 3-day event and we have speakers. And our leading speaker this year was on trust and developing trust with our members. And Sterling's example of his experience with Delta, I had a very similar one with Delta, to be honest with you, and it wasn't related to that outage, but it couldn't be more important that become part of culture, that people know. And whether that is flowing in from a fintech partner into the organization through technology, or whether that is face-to-face and those key moments when you're in the branch or on the phone, in our organization, that is taught and trained that has to be part of the culture. It has to be commonplace and normal, and you start from that position. So that would be my comment.
Now, it's so, one of the things that we talk about on a regular basis is it's not about selling a product. It's about being a partner that has something that can help members, that can make your missions come alive. So I'm going to kind of fast track a couple of questions here. Bill, you're involved internationally. Tell me about that. Tell me why.
Want to make sure I get my facts straight.
All right, do you?
And I just got these from the World Council of Credit Unions last week, and I see my friend Brian Branch over there, the retired CEO, so he's going to keep me honest here. Well, I mentioned the foundation of the credit union movement globally. Look, by a significant margin, there are more credit unions and more credit union members in the United States, but there are credit unions in 104 countries in the world. 75,000 credit unions serving 411 million people. So this is far from just a U.S. movement. And my experience over the years, including traveling with Brian, has been, yes, we have a lot that we can share with credit unions around the world, but we have a lot that we can learn too. And I think about my World Council experience, it's like a time machine, because you can travel back to credit unions in time who are just now getting started in some countries, and the foundational, why do we need a financial cooperative? Well, we need a financial cooperative to serve people who are underserved otherwise. I mean, credit unions really started to flourish when the Federal Credit Union Act was passed in 1934. Why did that happen? Well, because it was the Great Depression, and banks, not only were banks being closed, they were becoming very insular, and they weren't reaching out to serve people of lesser means or modest means, or even certain communities were completely in these banking deserts, which we still have today, by the way, in some parts of our country. So you can see that. You can also, though, go into the future and see credit unions we're trying to figure out how to work with Visa and MasterCard, who are great partners, but who own their own payment system. And they have the banks beating down their door to get on the credit union payment rails. That hasn't happened in the United States of America, even with 140 million credit union members. So if you have the opportunity to get involved, you can share, but you can also learn. And it's just incredible. And to see the passion and hear the stories. We don't do a good enough job telling our own stories, and we have millions of them. But I don't know. I'm very passionate about it, perhaps you can tell, but we've got a lot to learn and a lot to gain from engaging globally.
Well, I get to serve with you, and I know your passion. What about Navy Federal? You've got branches all over the world, and as he's answering this, will all of you come up with your 30-second challenge out to the group? Go for it.
Sure, I'll give you a different perspective of global, because we're in 10 different countries. And we recently decided to bid and won the bid for the Overseas Military Banking Program. And it's a program that basically moves a lot of money around to help servicemen that are stationed overseas. So the credit unions that are over there, this program gets money to them and to the exchange and to the commissary, and then it also allows them to participate in that country's banking system, which they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So that's for folks in North Korea, Japan, Germany, Italy, Bahrain, Djibouti. So quite a few interesting places. And I think that just goes back to being there for the good of all, which I think is a credit union trait, as well as being where your members are. So one of our old sayings was, we serve where you serve. So we try to be where they are.
Yeah, so we've heard Technologies International, we've heard our branching systems and all the action we're doing, but then you also work internationally through your foundation. Will you tell them about that foundation work?
Yeah, and I'll say not as much international,
Right.
but we really, we're supporters, obviously, of the World Council Foundation, National Credit Union Foundation, Carolinas Credit Union Foundation, but we also have our own foundation. And it is the perfect example of a cooperative because the $1 monthly maintenance fee from checking that folks pay, back in 2004, we chose to, if the members wanted to, and 99% of them do, over 99%, route that to start a foundation. And that foundation, since 2004, has given over $350 million to causes. And just most recently, you might have heard of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, where the mountains were devastated. And our members, through that foundation, were able to make a difference of almost $9 million to help them rebuild. So it is possible to touch, whether internationally, in the U.S. or just in your own states or in your local communities, by just making a point of giving back in some way and figuring out how to do that.
Isn't it amazing? We talk about the different size credit unions, but the messaging is pretty similar, isn't it? It's to me, this is what our system's all about. Okay, what do you want to leave the audience with, and who wants to go first? You want to go?
I'll start.
Beverly?
Well, first of all, just thank you for your time and attention today and giving us an opportunity to practice and rehearse. I'm just personally excited to be a part of this movement, and many people have been around it for a long time. It's changed my life, and we change the lives of our members. We are people helping people. And my challenge to all of us is to keep doing the work and to keep finding those populations of underrepresented, underappreciated, but very needy people who need us to lean into them and show and help them improve their financial well-being. Whether you're a partner or a credit union, whether you're small or large, we are all, whether you're a regulator, we are all in this together. We're all working together on behalf of our members. So I would say, let's just all keep going.
Thank you, Beverly. Bill?
Yeah, well, I agree. We're all in this together. Large and small, single sponsor, multi-sponsor, community chartered, state chartered, federally chartered. We're all credit unions. We all share the same last name. And let's use our collective energy to help each other. You know, we came through a tax battle earlier this year, and it was real. It turned out okay, but it's not going to be the last time. I mean, and that's just one of the things we can achieve when we work on it together. It's people helping people. It's credit unions helping credit unions. We've got to stick together. We're large credit unions, but collectively, still, the credit union movement with more than 4,000 credit unions is still smaller than the largest banks. Let's work together.
Yeah, excellent.
Couldn't agree more. I think that's phenomenal. I guess if I had to give you a charge, because it's something we've been working at very hard more recently, is find different ways to give back. Every one of you knows where your members' pain points are. I happen to have a very large membership right now that is not getting paid. And so we have put up to $2.5 billion a paycheck on the line, because if you have direct deposit with us, we will pay you. and advance you that. That was actually started years ago, and we've carried it through. And several other credit unions now do it too, that have military populations. So I think that's the type of giving back that a credit union would do. I don't know too many banks that do it. So again, we are different in a very special way. That overseas military banking program, I get a big fee from the government. I convinced the board, and it wasn't hard at all, that we would donate the entire fee to military-related charities. So, they get that money. So there are ways we can continue to give and expand our ways of giving. I know many of you do that. I'm going to assume all of you do. And Lee's story is exactly spot on. So,
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give a little bit of what my late mother used to say.
All right.
Yeah, I know. She said a lot, let me tell you. But we have social impact. And social impact is very, very important to today's youth, too. And one thing my mom always said was to leave something better than you found it. And so my charge to you is, however you're going to do that, whether it's collaborating, whether it's doing through your communities, whether it is for your members, for your team members, leave it better than you found it.
Thank you. Go for it.
Amen. Yeah, that's an awesome one. I am very proud to be here on the stage with these wonderful people, to be with all of you, and to be part of a community that makes a difference every day. We love sharing stories about how we make a difference every day in the individual lives of our members. For those that are our credit union partners and for future partners, we need you. You make us better. You help us to serve our members better. And we really strive to really leverage our trust with our members that we have to help you become better as well. And working together, we can make a huge difference in the world. And that's what we're all about.
Excellent. Wrap it up.
Last and least, I think I would maybe share with you an observation I've made through our bank acquisition. And there's a lot of people out there that want society and that industry to believe that credit unions are getting very bank-like, and that we are, especially the bigger you get, the more bank-like you get. And I can tell you that a lot of the conversation that we had with our bank partner that we ultimately agreed to acquire had to do with the differences between credit unions and banks. And while there are many similarities in systems and those kinds of things, the passion that comes from serving our members, the charge that we have to watch out for our members' well-being and to help them achieve their financial goals results in different types of decision-making. And so if you're here, and I commend, Susan, thank you for having us, and thank you for talking to Money 2020 and to allocating this kind of time to this kind of a subject. If you're here wanting to learn more about credit unions, I would tell you to learn about this space, because while there's a lot of overlap with our banking friends, there is a lot of differences. And the more you know about that, the better you can help us solve those problems for our members, because that's why we exist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And one of the questions we're going to ask in the audience on Monday is, are you members? What generation are you from? We want to know if people are actively engaging and understand the difference that comes from being a cooperative. We may not be profitable or not be for profit, but we know we have to be able to build our infrastructures, build what we're doing, and fast track to that generation that you're talking about, be able to connect in the way you all talked about it. So that's why we're here. That's why we're at Money 2020. And it's been a long road to get us on the stage, but we're friggin' on the stage. Excuse me, I don't have a problem cussing. I will watch myself, surely, but I also asked them to cuss once, and we won't do that again. The bottom line is that we're in a position right now where cooperatives make a difference. These folks represent touching millions of people. All of you want to work with millions of people. So let's work together and make that happen. And do you think we're going to be okay on Monday? What do you think? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate you.
Thank y'all.